everybody. Welcome to the Troy Show. This is the Troy Show, and I am Troy. I am here with you today to listen. I'm a listener to the show too. I subscribe on iTunes, and so can you. You can download the show directly from iTunes. I listen to it. I'm a fan of the show. In fact, I might be the fan of the show. So, thank you, Troy, for listening to the program. I had a dream once. It was, I guess it was a couple years ago. I had a dream that a friend of mine wanted to show me a business idea that they had. And this was an idea that was aimed at helping people who had recently lost a loved one. And so in my dream, I said, oh, this sounds like this could be a terrific idea because people lose somebody all the time. And so the money that could be made in an industry for this, people are dying to get into. You see what I did there? That people are dying to get into an industry. If I have to explain it, it takes away the humor. Okay. So my friend said, I just want you to come. We're having a festival of this ingenuity. And so I would like for you to come and experience this new industry idea that I've created. And so the setting was in Gallatin, Tennessee. I used to live in Gallatin, and so if you live in Gallatin, you might know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, every city has kind of an area like this, where it's kind of the heart of the city. It's kind of a one-street area, maybe a couple of red lights, but there's buildings on each side, maybe a couple of open areas where benches or fountains or whatever are. But it's a small strip, and that's where this festival is being held in honor of my friend's newest business venture. So I get there, and I'm not shocked at first at what I see. It just seems like a festival. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It's people walking around at these different exhibits. So there's several different exhibits. There's some that are kind of congregating around different fountains. There's some that are just kind of congregating around maybe stairs to certain businesses. But there's certain areas where people are starting to crowd around, and there's people just kind of as I walk around down the street, I notice there are people laying down on the fountains. Or there are people who are sitting up on motorcycles, or sitting on stairs, or even just standing. There were some people just sitting in chairs with a remote control in their hand, maybe a can of an adult beverage in the other. But there was nothing unusual about it, except these people were just sitting there, and there were people surrounding them. And so there was nothing really strange about it. It just looked like people relaxing or chilling out or having a good time, and other people were sitting there looking at them, watching them do this. So I mean, that's fine. It's if I could spend my day sitting in a chair in a very nice sunny area with maybe a package of double stuffed Oreo cookies in one hand and maybe a dyed orange Sunkist in the other, and sitting in a nice chair. If people want to sit around and watch me do that, that's fine. It's a little strange, but that's fine. So as we're walking, I start to ask my friend, I said, what is all this? What are we looking at here? Because like I said, nothing looked unordinary. Nothing looked out of the ordinary. It was just people sitting around and other people watching them while they sat there. And he says to me, do you notice anything strange? And I said, well, it's a little strange that that people are looking at these other people relaxing or whatever. And he said, no, those people are not relaxing. They're dead. What? Yeah, all these people are dead. Not the people who are watching, but the people who are sitting in chairs, the people who are sitting on motorcycles, the people who are just kind of laying down on the fountains, the people who are sitting on the stairs, whatever. Those are the ones that are dead. The people looking at him are looking at all of his exhibits. And I say that's terrifying. I just felt like I didn't want to be there. They were dead. They didn't look like they were dead. He said, that's the point. I said, I don't understand. So in my dream, my friend's business idea was when you have someone who died, if you have a loved one, maybe a mother or a grandparent or a sibling or whatever, if that person dies, in my dream, my friend, his idea was to put robotics inside those people so that they appear to still be alive. They won't be able to communicate, but they will have a mechanism inside of them that will make them blink and make their chest rise and inflate and exhale to make it look like they're breathing, and maybe have them sit on a motorcycle, have them act like they're steering the motorcycle or whatever. Incidentally, I have seen things similar to this. Not so much in our country, but there are some countries that at a funeral, they will actually have their loved one embalmed, like standing up. There was a gangsta who his parents embalmed him standing up, wearing kind of a hat and sunglasses and his gangster attire, and he was just kind of standing up in the corner, just chilling out. And so there's pictures of this, and you can just kind of see, people kind of surrounding him, and he's just standing there. That's it. He's dead. He's just standing there, just chilling out. There was another one where there's this lady, and she's sitting at a table, and she's got sunglasses on. And she looks like she's, just sitting at a table. Maybe she's getting ready to go to the park, or maybe she got back from the park. But whatever, she's sitting at a table with a can of beer in one hand and an unlit cigarette in the other hand. And she's just sitting there, and she's dead, but they've embalmed her in this way. That's creepy to me. That just seems creepy. I don't know if... I'm guessing they will eventually cremate these people, or hopefully they won't just keep them there wherever they are sitting like that. So that's strange. I did learn over the weekend, though, that there's a museum in Thailand that has encased in a glass case a man who had died by hanging for raping and killing somebody, and they hung him, and then they have him encased in this glass box, his rotting body. And people walk around this museum just gawking, just looking. Oh, that's what you do if you get raped and killed, or that's what you do. Oh, so that's what happens to you if you rape and kill somebody here in Thailand? Okay, well, I won't do that here. The idea would not to do that at all, but they have them in this box, and people just walk by and look at him. There he is. There's the rapist killer. So, anyways, back to my dream. So I walk around down this street, and sure enough, there's this man, wearing a white T-shirt. I think there's some gravy stains on his stomach, sitting on this fountain. And he appears to be breathing. He's not doing anything else. He just appears to be breathing. That's all. That's all he's doing. He's just sitting there. White T-shirt, stains on his tummy, just breathing. And there's somebody else in this brown leather chair just sitting there with a drink in his hand. And, oh yeah, his head is moving around. Do you remember when you went to Chuck E. Cheese and you had those robots on stage that kind of mechanically look. I'm trying to do that right now with my head. You can't see it, but the robots just kind of mechanically move their arms and legs, and they just kind of move their heads around, and it looks fake. It looks mechanical. But that's what's going on. This one guy was sitting in a chair, and his head's just kind of moving back and forth, and he's got a beer in his hand or something like that. So that was my friend's idea in the dream. Because there would be some acceptance to this. I mean, if your animal dies, your dog, your cat, or whatever, some people will take them, get them stuffed, and then put them in their living room, in their kitchen. I wouldn't be able to do that because if I see a dead animal, I can't eat for a week. There's been a deer rotting on the side of the road on my way to work, and I have to I literally do this. I put my hand in front of my face so that I can't look over there. And if I see a dead animal, I can't. It does something strange to me. I can't eat. When I'm eating, I feel like I'm eating that dead animal. So if my dog ever dies, there's no way I'm going to have him stuffed and put in my kitchen because I'll never be able to eat again. Then again, that might be a good diet, a good dietary plan for me. Maybe that's what I should do. Interesting. Well, so there is this idea that we would like to see life continue. We don't like death. Death is the ultimate bad thing in life. It's the ultimate ending, isn't it? It's the one thing that everybody in the world will do. Everybody's going to die. Nobody can escape it. Everybody will die. And so it's humanity's. It's what unites humanity. Everybody's born, and everybody dies. What happens between those 2 points is up to that human, that person, however they live their life. But you're going to die someday. But in the future, will that cease? Will death be just a footnote in the book of history? Will 100 years from now, your great-great-great-great-grandchild say to somebody, hey, what happened to Uncle Troy? Where is Uncle Troy? Oh, he died 100 years ago. What? What does that mean? What is death? What is that all about? That's weird, Granny. Can I have some more double-stuffed chocolate cheesecake Oreos? That would be terrific. They should have that in the future. I imagine that when I think of the future, I think of double-stuffed Oreo cheesecake, chocolate cheesecake Oreos. That's what I hope happens in the future. But there are a lot of people who would like to see death end. That death no longer happens, and that would be the most unbelievable thing for that to happen, because I don't want death. I hate death. I've experienced it a few times in my life. I've had some relatives who have died. My father-in-law died back in November. And so we don't like death. But is it something that we should try to stop? Should we depend on science to try to stop people from dying? And is it possible? I mean, if you think about it, it kind of seems like it might be, because what is death? Death is just your body just sort of stopping. Your body deteriorates to a point where it can no longer house or can no longer contain life, and so your body just stops functioning, your organs stop functioning, and your brain stops functioning, and so you die. That's death. So is there a way, and that's what some scientists are trying to figure out, is there a way to stop your body from aging? Well, I talked recently about the head transplant. There is a doctor, I believe his name is Canavero or something like that, who he's been working on this for a while, and he actually has a patient ready to go. He's got a muscular disease where his body is just going to fail him, and he has agreed to allow this doctor to perform this head transplant on him. Now they call it head transplant, but that's not what it is. You're not transplanting your head. You're putting your head onto another body. So that's the procedure. And so the doctor says that he's doing this because he wants to figure out a way to prolong life. But the question is, should we do that? So should we stop death? Is there anything unethical about stopping the dying process? I mean, what would life be like if we did stop it? And would it be a good thing? Well, there is another possibility. If you don't want to have a head transplant or a body transplant, you could go to eterni.me. And what it does is it basically clones your mind. It's a smart digital replica of yourself based upon collection of your memories, your thinking habits, and your values. And so it downloads all of this stuff and it puts it into a computer. And so you basically live on forever. You never die. Well, I mean, you do, but your consciousness is duplicated and cloned and put into a computer. And so future generations would be able to interact with your mind clone as if they were interacting with you. They could hear your stories, they could get your advice, they could even ask for your blessing. Advanced mind clone technology would build a profile of you by tracking your preferences in music, videos, or news, just as Google and Amazon already do. The program would analyze your tastes, interests, and writing style. You could also upload value preferences and stories, training your clone to think and respond like you. And your descendants would be able to chat with your avatar. You could program it to send birthday greetings to your grandchildren long after you've died. And if the technology works, it would be difficult for your grandchildren to tell the difference between you and your mind clone in a chat room or email exchange. Isn't that how it is now? I mean, if I email something to somebody, it's difficult to tell if it's me or somebody else. I mean, it's not hard to fraud, or it's not hard for somebody to send a fake email. I get fake emails all the time. Come on. I cannot tell you the number of Egyptian princes have sent me emails in the last couple months. Listen, there are people out there who want to give me millions of dollars. They're out there. They're mostly in Egypt or Ethiopia or Iraq. But as strange as it is, there are people out there who have no idea who I am, who want to give me millions of dollars. And because they feel like I'm trustworthy. Because they've seen my email address or something. I don't know. So, I mean, does this make any of you uncomfortable at all? This idea of trying to stop death from happening? I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable with it, and I can't explain exactly why. I mean, I have my belief system of why I feel like it's necessary for me to die someday. David Crowder Band, when it was the David Crowder Band, had a song where the lines were, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's true, because I do want to go to heaven. I don't necessarily want to experience the death process. I hear it's not a very exciting thing to do. But I don't know how long I want to stay on the earth. I do want to die eventually. I want to see my children grow up. I want to see my children have children. I want to experience the beautiful things in life. But the thing is, I don't want to stay on the planet. There's a couple of things I'm going to talk about in the next couple podcasts. One of them, again, has to do with religious freedom. The idea that it's intolerance if you want to do things based on your own belief system. It's now called intolerance to do that. If your belief system says that you shouldn't accept somebody else's preference on something, your lack of tolerating that system of that other person's belief is now intolerance. It does not matter at all what they believe about you. Even though they feel the same way about you, they don't want to tolerate your belief. But if you don't tolerate their belief, you are the one intolerant, because religion in this country is now something that is undesirable. If you are a Christian, you are now considered unintelligent. You are considered an idiot. And all over the country, all over the world, people's lives are in jeopardy because of their beliefs. Every day, Christians are being slaughtered. Every day now, Christians are being kidnapped, and they're being taken to some far-off third-world country, and they're being held in front of a television camera, and they have their heads cut off. Every day, children in this country and other countries are being kidnapped, being used as sex slaves. In some of the Islamic countries, children are being sold into slavery. You can buy a 1 to 9-year-old girl for $160-something. And so they buy a lot of these girls, and they take them to the front lines where the wars are happening, and they give them to the soldiers, and they say, "Here, have fun with the children." So my ideal world would be where none of this madness happens. I don't want to stay on the world. The world is crazy. The world is intolerant. The world is full of anger and rage. The world is full of sin. And the world of just is full of people who will not be willing to tolerate somebody else. The world is full of intolerance on both sides. Religious, non-religious. But the hypocrisy is insane. I'll talk about another story. That same situation in a podcast this week. Also, in the world of politics, Hillary Clinton is out there talking to all the women. She's not talking to men. She could care less about men. Nobody wants to talk to the men in our country anymore. Nobody cares about the men. The men are sexist. The men are hateful. Nobody cares about men because of the war on women, of course. And so Hillary Clinton is out there talking about women, and she wants to make sure that the women have the right to destroy the life, to extinguish the bundle of tissue inside of their stomach. They should have that right. And she wants to make sure that happens. And what she says must happen will make your eyeballs shoot out of your face. I'll talk about that this week also. So if you are a fan of The Troy Show, would you do me a favor, please? Would you go to iTunes and type in The Troy Show? And then it gives you an opportunity to leave a comment. Would you leave a comment on there for me? And let me know what you think. And please. Well, I was going to say if you think the show is stupid, don't leave that. But I mean, I guess you could do that if you want to. But if you find any value in the show, would you please go and leave a comment there? It looks good on iTunes, and that will help me to show iTunes that there is some relevance to this. And then they'll start publishing or promoting it too. Also, Facebook.com/The Troy Show. And leave me a voicemail, 707-874-TROY. And leave me your thoughts on any of these things. And I guess that's all that I have. It's been a really busy weekend for me. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of look up a lot of interesting articles, a lot of other things. But I want you to know that in a few weeks I will not be as busy. And I can jump back into this with my head going in first, and we'll keep going. So, my friends, I hope you are enjoying the program, and I hope that you will spread the news, and I hope that you will tune in next time.
This is the Troy Show.